So here's the situation. You start up a new Minecraft world and do all the normal first couple of day things. Punch trees, get tools, find food, and start a branch mine, as you do. Well, now you're left with a bunch of red stuff, need resources that you don't want to wait for, and want to progress to bigger, better things. And that's where I come in. My name is Thralish, and welcome to the first episode of the Survivalist Guide to Redstone. So in this series, we're going to be going over a whole bunch of redstone components and circuits, and seeing how they can help our Minecraft experience. Now, a few disclaimers before we get started. For those of you who watch my Nations series, I will not be stopping that series. This is going to be an additional series. As you know, the Nation series is really just getting started and just started to take hold. And if you don't watch it, you definitely should give it a watch. I will leave a info card in the top corner. Whoa! Alrighty there. You know, I'm so glad that they have these banners. It doesn't matter where I go, I cannot get away from these guys. Also, another thing to note is this is going to be a Java series. I'm not going to do Bedrock or Console Edition. This is a Java PC series. So some of the stuff that we'll be learning here, you might not be able to do if you play on Bedrock. Sorry. This isn't a series on how to play survival Minecraft. This is a series on, so we're not going to go over things like finding strongholds and end cities and how to beat the dragon, although we will go over that a little bit and how to use a little bit of redstone shenanigans to make your life easier before the fight for the dragon. But, yeah, this isn't going to be a how to play survival Minecraft. Just how can you make survival Minecraft easier with redstone. Obviously, this is going to be a more technical series. We're going to be going over a lot of redstone circuits and things that make stuff like this a little easier, less painful. So if that's not your cup of tea, I still think you should stick around, because you will still hopefully be able to learn something from this series. I will be doing some building, so it's not going to be us just, living in a horrendous looking cave for the rest of the series. There will be some building going on. But, yeah, this is going to be a mostly technical experience. And the last thing that I want to say, which is certainly not, the least thing in this whole explanation, is I am not a redstone pro, okay? I am still learning a lot. I'm still learning a lot of redstone things. As you can probably tell, based on some of the startup things that I've done, I could have made my life a lot easier already. However, I'm still learning, and I want to, I figured it would be a good idea to learn redstone together with all of you. If I find out, how to do things, I think it's going to be easier for me and better for me to actually remember it and learn it if I can, practice by showing it off in a series. So stick around, and hopefully we can all learn stuff together. All right, I think that's all the disclaimers that I want to go over right now. If I think of any more in the future, I'll go ahead and let you know. But for now, let's get into what we're actually going to be talking about and doing in this series. Now, let's start at the very beginning with 3 simple questions, okay? How do we find redstone? What is redstone? And what can we do with it? Well, there are a number of ways you can find redstone, okay? First of which is probably the most common in the early days of Minecraft, and that's mining, branch mining, or caving. You see, redstone ore generates anywhere in the overworld up to Y16, so while you're exploring some of the caves around your base, you're deep into the world when you find redstone ore. When you mine redstone ore with an iron pickaxe or better, you get anywhere between 4 to 5 pieces of redstone dust. And this stuff right here is the backbone of everything that we're going to be doing, or most of the things that we're going to be doing in this series. So it is super important stuff. We definitely want to go and look for it everywhere we can. Some other places you can get redstone dust from are jungle temple traps, trading with cleric villagers, random loot chests like in dungeons and woodland mansions, or by killing witches, which is farmable, and we'll go into that method later in this series. So, what is redstone exactly? Well, when most people talk about redstone, they're talking about the circuits and contraptions you can make with different redstone components, not necessarily the item redstone dust. To many, redstone is Minecraft's form of electricity. Me included, I definitely think of it that way. You can also think of it kind of like magic if you're into a role-playing aspect of Minecraft. Up to you. No wrong way to play the game. So you can place redstone dust down in a line, like so. And then if you put a redstone component on one end and a way to power the redstone line on the other, when you turn the power on, you'll see that the power pulses through the redstone line, or goes through the redstone line, excuse me, and it turns the redstone component on, right? So when we turn it off, obviously the power goes away and the redstone component shuts off. Now we can use this theory of redstone electricity to make gigantic machines that do a ridiculous amount of stuff. And before we get into our final question here, I do want to take a moment to say, hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you're seeing so far, make sure to like the video as well. We're going to be doing this series for a while, so stick around. Definitely subscribe. Alright, now on to our last question. Why is all of this information important? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, one of the most common uses of redstone circuitry in survival Minecraft is to automate the collection of resources. And a perfect example of this is the issue that I'm having right here. I have an enchanting table, and I want to enchant my tools with level 30 enchantments, especially this nice diamond sword that I have, and this here nice diamond pick. Now, I need bookshelves to unlock those level 30 enchantments, and I need I need levels as well, but we'll get into that in a different episode, okay? Bookshelves require a very time-consuming item to make, which is books. To make a book, you need one piece of leather, and 1, 2, 3 pieces of paper, okay? So each bookshelf, each block of a bookshelf requires 3 books, and I need 15 bookshelves. So a little quick math says I need 45 pieces of leather and 135 pieces of paper. Now the paper isn't that difficult, and in the next episode we'll show you how to do a nice automated sugarcane farm so you can get paper while you're doing whatever. But in this episode we're going to go over how to get mass quantities of leather and also food with one redstone farm. Now there's 2 different ways to make this farm, and one of them doesn't even require redstone. The other one does, but it's only one component and a button. But we'll get into that in just a second. Now, there are a couple of different animals in Minecraft that you can get leather from. Llamas and rabbits, especially people who decide to live in the desert. Rabbits you can get leather from. Is that another patrol? Oh my gosh, these guys are just ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Alright, we're going to see if we can't just keep them busy by having them climb the mountain. But, perfect. This is what we're going to get our leather from. And the nice thing about cows is they also have like one of the greatest sources of food in the game as well, because cooked steak is actually really, really good with, oh, there are 2 here, wonderful, with healing your saturation bar up, and that's the little food bar right above your levels next to your heart. I do have 2 leads here because I had a wandering trader. Oh, there's pumpkins over there. Oh, I want those. I had a wandering trader show up, and he didn't really have any trades that I could trade for because I didn't have any emeralds, so I figured, you know, a good trade-off would be giving me a couple of his leads, you know, from the animals he had. But yeah, this is great. We have these 2 cows here. Ooh, I cannot talk today. So we're just going to go ahead and slowly drag these guys along with us. Now that we're in the water, these leads shouldn't break from going too fast. I'm going to grab this little brown mushroom here, and once I get them back to base, I'll show you what I'm talking about with this farm. So here are our beautiful cows safely at home. Great thing about leads is you can tie them to fence posts to keep your animals where you want them to be. We are going to right now talk about our first, I call it a redstone component. Minecraft says it's a redstone component if you click on your little redstone auto clicker tab here thingy. It is in here, and it is of course the hopper. Now the hopper is arranged with 5 iron ingots like this, kind of like a funnel, with a chest in the center. That will get you a hopper. Now the coolest thing about this, let me grab my other chest here, because we're going to need it anyways, is the hopper will take anything that is put on top of it and output it to wherever this little nub, I guess, is going. So that's that connected to the chest. Now hang on one second and I'll show you what it looks like connected to the ground. So you see how the little thing is down pointing at the ground? Well, if we shift click on the side of the chest, it's now going into the chest, okay? And you can do this on any side or even on the top of the chest as well, all right? So something neat about hoppers is if an item hits the top of the hopper, it kind of disappears, you see? It's actually going into the chest. So it will, let me again disconnect this, store items as well. Did I pick those up? I did, okay. So it has, the hopper itself has an inventory, right? So there are 4 items inside of the hopper, okay? And if we break that, they'll all pop out, just like a normal chest. So for this farm, you're going to need a 3x3 area that's about 3 or 4 blocks tall, all right? And we're going to take these 2 blocks out here. We're going to put a chest down and the hopper that we just talked about going in right there, okay? So it is going into the back of the chest. If you want to check that, just toss some items in, and they should wind up in the chest. That's perfect. So we are going to build our area, our 3x3 area, so that way it is 2 blocks tall from the hopper, right? So we have this kind of hole here in the center, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bucket of water here. Let me real quick, I'm going to put an upside down stair over this chest, like so. So that way we can still open the chest, right? If I put a full block there, the chest wouldn't be able to open. But what we're going to do is we're going to take some water and we're going to put it right here, okay? And now we're going to go get our cows. We're going to break our lead by just right-clicking on the fence post, and I'll grab one of these cows right now and hook it to the fence post and grab the other one and bring it over here. So I've got this little staircase thing here. Hopefully he doesn't hit the fire. Oh, I went in the water. All right, he didn't go in the fire. We're going to lead him up the staircase with our lead here, and hopefully he should try to get to us and we'll just drop him right in the water, right? So right-clicking on him will break that lead, and the lead will go in the chest because it fell into the hopper, okay? Let me go get the other cow, and we're going to do the same thing and have the cow just hop right into the water there, okay? So these two are just going to hop around forever. Remember how I said that there is a redstone version of this, right? This is the redstone-less version. The one without redstone just has the cows in water hopping all the time. One day we will swap this out for the redstone version. That is not this day. So now what we need to do is take some wheat and right-click on the cows, and they will, look at that, parrots and the bees, they have made a baby. Because these cows are hopping around like this, it makes it really easy for us, once we get a bunch of cows in here, to give wheat to all the cows that will be in this hole, okay? Now there's something in this game called entity cramming, and that's what will take effect with this farm, alright? These cows will have 24 cows in the hole, okay? Or that hole will have 24 cows in it. So essentially what will happen is once the last cow gets in there, and I'm pretty sure I have my numbers right, I'm pretty sure it's 24. I was right, it is 24. So once we have 24 cows in here, and we go ahead and breed up more cows, okay, the babies will go in the hole, and because there's 24 cows in there, the adults will die first, alright? And that's the very important thing about this farm. Because if the babies die, they don't drop anything. But if the adults die, they drop their food and their leather. So now all we have to do is wait for that baby to grow up, and then breed as many of these cows as we possibly can in this hole so that they entity cram, and we get all the drops down here. And I know what you're all saying. You're like, Thrallish, this is a Redstone series. Why aren't we learning the Redstone version of this farm? Well, let me tell you, there are a bunch of things that we need to go over first, okay? Like how to power things. I know I kind of showed you a little bit, but there's a lot more that we have to learn. That just being one of them. But we will definitely learn the Redstone version, because this, if I can get up here, is really loud with them hopping around in the water. Oh, by the way, put this fence post here. I totally forgot about it, all right? So you just put a fence post here and then connect this one to it and get rid of the one that's on this block, because they do tend to jump really high if that's not there, okay? So just put a fence post there. But while we are waiting for some of these to grow up so I can just feed them again and keep breeding them so we can get our sweet, sweet drops, I'd like to go into a little creative test world and go over entity cramming a little bit more, because it's super important and it's really something that we should all understand, because it's used in a lot of farms. All right, so let's skip over to a creative test world. And here we are in my creative redstone world. I strongly suggest anyone get and make a world like this. We also have a place for a little parrot guy, just in case we want to play some CDs for him so he can dance. It's just so cute. All right, get out of there. But yeah, make a creative test world and go through some of the basic redstone circuits that there are in the game. We will be going over each and every single one of these, don't worry. So yeah, I'll build them with you and kind of explain what they do, all that sort of stuff. And then you can put them to practice by making some useful things out of them. But what we want to do right now is kind of explain how entity cramming works with visuals. I've built up a box that kind of looks a bit like our farm, just a little cleaner because it's not cobblestone. And I just haven't added the water because in this case, in this example, I don't need the cows to be bobbing up and down. Right now there are 24 cows in there, okay? And that is the max entity cramming that is set in this world. And if you have commands enabled, you can actually set the entity cramming amount. So I believe maybe it's entity? You know, I've honestly never done it. Give me a second. There it is. It's max entity cramming, all right? So if you just do that and you hit enter, it says the max entity cramming is currently set to 24. So if you play in a world that has commands enabled, or you are in a server that has commands enabled, you can raise or lower the entity cramming amount, however you need fit, all right? But default is 24. So there are 24 cows in here, I can promise you that. If I go ahead and add one more, one of the cows has died. See? So what they do is they take, I think it's technically suffocation damage, but I could be wrong. We'll get into suffocation later. All right? So now what we're going to do is I'm going to actually, let's grab some foodstuffs. Is it in miscellaneous? It is. And I'm going to, can I breed cows? Probably not in creative, huh? So if I right-click on one of these cows with a spawn egg, here I'll show you this. It actually makes a baby. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that in here, and I will show you. Let me clear this out real quick as well, just to show you that one of the adults will die. All right? See, one of the adults has died. All right? So that is exactly what's going to happen in this farm. Once we breed up these cows and we make a bunch of babies in here, the adults are going to die and their drops are going to drop down in here. Again, the only difference with this and what we have on our world is the water's not in there, all right? So it's going to work. Now, Minecraft thinks that certain other things are entities as well, such as minecarts. So this is how a lot of farms work, especially gold farms in the Nether, and we'll definitely be doing one of those later. There are 24 minecarts in here, and if I go ahead and drop a cow in, the cow dies. Now the reason the cow dies is because obviously these minecarts can't die, right? So if I were to go in there, because I am also considered an entity, which is another reason that that fence post is on the farm, so you don't fall in and die. All right? Players are also considered entities. So if I were to set this to survival and jump in here, I would die as well. All right? Because I am also considered an entity. There are a lot of farms that use entity cramming as the way to kill hostile mobs as well, okay? Sometimes the easy ones are you'll push them into a cylinder, the hostile mob will go up the cylinder and then fall and die. But if you don't have enough room for that, and you have enough iron, you can just make 24 minecarts, throw them in a hole, and then have the mobs go into the hole and they'll die and drop their stuff, right? Okay, so I think that's entity cramming summed up. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Let's get back to our cows on our world. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. And all of these cows are all grown up now, and I have been feeding them. I hope the entity cramming explanation made sense. So now we should have 24 in here. So when I go ahead, and I'm actually going to take my shield off. When we go ahead and we feed them, we're just going to kind of do a semicircle motion here. The cows, as you can see, some of them are dying. And we should stop getting heart particles eventually. Some of the baby cows will eat the food. And the only thing that that's going to do is make them grow up faster. And sometimes you might have to move around here to get them to spread out to the point where you can feed them. But it looks like we're all done feeding them. So if we go down here, awesome. So we've got a decent start to, I'm going to back up because that is loud. We got a decent start to a bunch of beef, and we've got some leather in there as well. Now, passive animals in Minecraft take about 20 minutes, if I remember correctly. It's 20 minutes real time to grow up fully. So we're going to have to wait another 20 minutes before we do that again. However, this is I don't want to say AFK, but it's semi-automatic. The only thing we have to do, really, is just stand here and semicircle the wheat and harvest more wheat and wait and rinse and repeat. We don't have to build a massive box, put the cows in it, and then breed them and then slay them off. It's just a one-by-one hole. That is, however, going to conclude this episode, the first episode of the Survivalist Guide to Redstone. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, and can we get some hype for the series in general? I'm super excited to bring this to everybody and to learn as much as we can about Redstone and Redstone stuff and how it can help our survival experience. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so we can, you can keep up to date with all our crazy shenanigans in the future. And come next episode, we're gonna figure out a way to to get that sugarcane going automatically, so we don't have to worry about that one either. But go ahead and give it a like and subscribe, like I said, and we will see you all in the next episode.